Hello, everyone. A couple of months ago, when I joined WeAreDevelopers program management team, we were closing the call for proposals. In order to collect and manage the data, we were using a very cool speakers management tool. However, this speaker management tool was missing some features that would help us to overcome some challenges we had to face. Unfortunately, a lot of manual work was required, and it was really time-consuming. I questioned myself and also my colleague, what could we do with that? How could we solve the situation? What apps are out there? What script might we use, which is probably somewhere online. I was looking for that, I didn't find anything. And Michael, the colleague of mine who held a talk yesterday on AREC.js, asked me, what if I tell you you can write such script yourself? OK, tell me more about that. So tell me more about that. And I was really interested in what that could be. The answer was Google Apps Scripts. Google Apps Scripts is a technology. It's actually a scripting language based on JavaScript 6. And it enables the user to make the Google Apps talk to each other and make very cool and new things with G Suite documents. So first of all, how many of you actually use G Suite products, such as Gmail, G Drive, etc., or you have it in your company? A better question would be, who doesn't? This technology is one of my favorites, and it is very cool when you are probably like a Java developer and get to know this technology and start using it. It's very easy. And I would like to make this session very interactive, so you don't fall asleep after the 2 full days of workshops and sessions. Please scan the QR code, which will redirect you to a call for proposals, where you will be the speakers proposing your talks to me as an organizer. And let's take a look at the form, actually. So in this form, we have like a fake conference where you feel free to use your fake data. I don't need your real name or last name. But you can be creative with the title of your talk and also with the description of the talk. And at the end, please fill in your real email address, because this will be necessary in order to interact with the system. And also, please, when you are writing the description of your talk, please keep in mind that the session is being recorded, so don't do some words there. And also, while you are filling the form in, let me now show you and introduce what are the requirements in order to work with this Google Apps Scripts. So you need Google account, also a source of data, which in our case will be Spreadsheet. And obviously, you need a script editor where you put your data and your code in. It is also necessary to mention that Google Apps Scripts also offer a script editor which runs on Google Server. So there is also nothing. The Google Apps Scripts run on Google Server, and it offers a script editor which runs in the browser. Throughout the session, I'll be talking about Google services, and these are the Spreadsheet, Gmail service, document service, language service, HTML, and calendar service. So now let me check the spreadsheet. If I got some replies already, cool, I got some, nice. So now you propose your talks. And it would be nice to let you know that I'm very thankful for all the efforts you put into this application, and I will go through it carefully and get back to you as soon as I evaluate all the talks. So let's send you a confirmation email. Confirm proposal. And let's check in the email. I think some of you might already get the email. So let's have a look here. Dear Diana, thank you very much for your interest in speaking at XConference 18. We will go through a proposal carefully and get back to you as soon as we evaluate all the talks. We hope to meet you in Vienna, X-Conference 18 team. So how does the magic work? As I mentioned, I'm using a spreadsheet here. So Google offers a spreadsheet service, which enables the users to create, access, and modify spreadsheet files. This service offers a spreadsheet app, which I'm going to use in my demo. And on the right side, you can see how do I represent the spreadsheet in the code. So I basically just call the open by URL or open by ID method, which will return and represent the spreadsheet in my spreadsheet variable. But this is not all. In the spreadsheet, there might be a lot of sheets inside, so we have to get the right one with get sheet by name, and afterwards, this sheet is represented as a two-dimensional array in my code. So let's have a look on it. OK, so there are two types of script editors. The first is bound script, and the second is standalone. For standalone, you have to visit script.google.com, where you create a new script. So for me, it's standalone. Let's open it. In this standalone script, there is my code written. I also use a script bound to a G Suite document, but I'm going to talk about it later. So as you can see here, in my spreadsheet, these white columns are responses I got from you, and the blue ones are the columns with values that will change afterwards when I call some functions. So let's confirm proposals again. The function runs. It might have some latency because it's around 30 proposals. And in my code here, in the standalone script, I have the indexes of the columns where your responses are saved. And here you see that I have my spreadsheet app, so I can get the data from my spreadsheet. In the first function called confirm proposal received, I just iterate through the spreadsheet and take the value confirmation is sent, so I know if the confirmation was already sent or not, so I don't bother you many times with the same email. So if the confirmation is not sent yet, the message will be created. For this, I use a document app, document service, and this enables me to create, access, and modify the document files. It has a classes as document app, body, and paragraph. On the right side, you see how do I work with these classes and what methods are there. So for this, I say, OK, let's take the document app and open my document by ID. The ID is a part of a URL, which you can, for example, see here. And every document has its body. So let's take this body and the text out of it, and save it and initialize the variable with that. I also need my recipient's name when I want to address someone. And eventually, in my email, in my document where I have my text, what I'm sending you, I will fill in your name with the format string method. Also, I need a recipient because I need to send this email to someone, and my subject. Eventually, I get to the most important part here, and that's the Gmail app. This Gmail app has a function which is called send email, and only with 3 parameters, like recipient, subject, and message, I'm able to send out hundreds of emails within 1 click. It is also important to remember that quotas apply. So as it runs on Google servers, there are specific quotas that different Google accounts have. So if you want to try this out, you have to check it before. How many emails can you send out per day, etc. After I have it all, now I would like to make a decision who is going to be accepted or not. But first, I would like to read the descriptions. And in normal case, where you have talk description long, around 600 characters or 600 words, it's not very easy to read through, from the document. So how about grabbing just the information we need, and as a talk description, we also don't need the name of the speaker and bio of the speaker because we want to be very objective. And we can just grab this, the columns we want to have and fill it in a document which I have here. This document is now empty. When I call my function, fill the evaluation doc, I will get only the information I need to decide about the talk in my document. And that's speaker ID, so the number of the column where my speaker is written, and title of the talk, time of the talk, technology, and description. So now I would like to decide who is going to be accepted, and I don't want you to get offended, so let's use a random function which will generate the random values. So no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes, yes, no. Okay. First, I will start with the ones who didn't have that much luck and are rejected. And yep, let's reject you. I should now have an email here. That it was difficult to choose the best talks and the competition was very strong. This time we had to reject your talk. Dúfame, že sa na váš návrh na rozhovor dostane v budúcom roku. This is not a proper translation to my language, but it is just a demo version, so let's have a look on it. As I mentioned, there is this specific sentence which enables me to send out a message and to reject like many speakers in a very polite manner, writing a personalized message to them. For this, I use my function reject speakers, which again iterates through the whole spreadsheet, checks if the speaker is accepted, if not, and the decision is not sent yet. I'll get my data that I need, that's the recipient, recipient's first name, and language. Also subject and message. This is all the same as the previous function, but there is one difference, and that's this line here, where I call the language app that helps me to translate any string from a source language to target language. Afterwards, I'll just send the email and set decision to send, so I again don't bother you many times with the same message. I have forgotten about the email here, about the function here, which is called fill evaluation doc. And this worked as the following. I'm using the document app, which I open by ID again, and iterate through the spreadsheet, save my data that I need. That's, for example, title, time, technology, and description, which I got in my evaluation doc. The send to document function is just my help function, which helps me to format the text. As you can see, I can use here set bold, set underline, set background, so basically everything I can do in my document editor. The next thing I would like to show you is what happens if some of you is accepted. Okay. I think that you... What's happening here? Let me fix it. I think that you didn't, probably some of you didn't put in a valid email address, so I will not continue now with that. So in my email, I got... Give me a second. Accept speaker. OK, I was not accepted, so let's change the variable so I can show you how it looks like. Also, the decision is not sent yet. And dismiss accept speaker. Now I should get the email. OK. So congratulations. Your talk has been accepted. Please confirm your attendance and sign the Memorandum of Cooperation. What's specific about this email and different to the previous one is that you have a URL there. So if you click on this URL, probably some of you have already tried, you will get a very custom web page here, which uses data from your talk proposal. And also see here the status of the Memorandum of Cooperation. This is not signed yet, and it says, we are happy to have you at XConference 18. Please sign this Memorandum of Cooperation. By signing the document, you agree with the conditions and also confirm your attendance. You agree to deliver the talk. So this is my talk description. And very important thing here, you see the column signed, and as soon as I click on the button, the value here, sign memorandum. The value should be changed. Yes, so now you see it. The value is changed to yes. So you can try it on. So you can try it out if it will change the value. Yeah, we can see here some responses that are coming. So how does this work? In my standalone script, I have a function called accept speakers, which is very similar to the previous one also, but I'm calling the method generate URL here. This is my method I have written here. And in order to send your script to someone as a web app, you have to first deploy your script as a web app. That you do with publish deploy as a web app. And here your URL will be displayed, which you can copy and write into your function and assign it to a variable. After this, I'll just add custom parameters as name of the speaker, email of the speaker, and the number of the speaker. In order to make it quite not visible how it looks like, this URL, I mean, this is not the proper way how to do the security, so you rather use something else. But you can shorten it with the URL shortener class, which will use the Google service called URL shortener, which will, by the way, deprecate the next year. And then just encode this as a URI. So this is not all, because you have there some user interface, and user interface has to have some business logic behind that. So how does this work? I have my HTML page here, which is just a simple material design or new material theming web page, which has this text, and also there is a button I'm clicking on. So how does this in background work? Again, I'm using the Spreadsheet app and open it by URL. I have my indexes here, so I can address the data from my spreadsheet. And the first function you see here is a doGet function. This is a very special function. It's called trigger. And this function is called as soon as you click on the link from your email. This function must return an HTML output. And let's have a look on how we do it. So we get the parameters. We need number of the speaker, name, and email. And then we cache the number of the speaker for the later use, because I have some other function there which will need this parameter. So now I check if the data this column is already signed. This column has a value that is already signed. Then it will return the HTML output saying, thank you, the memorandum is already signed. You can try to refresh the page. It should return this message. Also, you see here the meta tag. It's because Google Apps Scripts ignore most of the meta text. That's why it's here, so it looks nicer on your phone. In case it's not signed yet, we will eventually get to create a speaker object with name, title of the talk, description, and stage, which you saw in the web page. So there are these values here, this information. And afterwards, this is still not all. So we have our HTML, we have the business logic, and we need to connect it somehow. And that's called templating in Google Apps Script. We call the HTML service and say to create template from file. The demo confirm attendance is my HTML file I showed you already. And in the end, I'll just assign the speaker object to the template. At the end, I returned the template.evaluate. Evaluate function is very important because this template, it's actually not an HTML output, as I mentioned in the beginning, that the doGet function has to return it. It's HTML template. And this function will help me to return the HTML output. Again, I set the meta text so it looks nicer. In my user interface, there is the button and a very specific class here, which is called Google Script Run. This Google Script Run class is actually a JavaScript API, which enables the client-to-server communication. The function sign here is a callback function, which will run as soon as the server-side function will return successfully. This callback function here, this changes the status of the memorandum. As you can see here, this was before not signed, but after I clicked at the button, it was signed already. So how about the server-side function, which I have in my web app? This function updates my spreadsheet with the value yes. So again, when you signed it already, you don't have to sign it twice. After this all is finished, and the speaker already confirmed the attendance, how about inviting the speaker for a speaker's dinner? Let me open the document. And I will also set everything to yes, so you can get the invitation too, this demo invitation. So let's say accept it, accept everyone, and decision is sent. OK, and also confirmation. Great. So now with my menu, I will call the function invite for speaker dinner. And in a few seconds, you should get your invitation for it. Here it is. So for this thing, I use a calendar service. As you can see here, I iterate through the spreadsheet again, check if the invitation was already sent. If not, then just take the title. So it's a speaker dinner, a recipient, the starting date, ending date, location where the speaker dinner will happen, and description we would like to add to the invitation. Then I have to get my calendar, so I'll call calendar app. I'll get the default calendar of the user, and afterwards I will create a new event with the title from to and the guest, which is recipient. I can also set the value to true or false, depending on if I would like to send out this invitation or not, of location and description. Eventually, I just set the value to yes, so I can then, when I run the function again, don't have to send this invitation again. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there are two types of scripts. And the second one is script bound to G Suite document. There is a small difference between them, and that is the first function you see here. This is on open. What does this function do? I'm sure in your spreadsheets you don't have this custom menu manage speakers. This I created programmatically from my script bound to G Suite document with the function on open, which is also a trigger. This function is called immediately when I open my spreadsheet. We can try it. So when I refresh it, it takes some time to load it, but eventually it will show up. Yes, it's here. So when this function is opened, the script editor, which is bound to script, will not refresh automatically. We have to open it again with the tools and script editor. So, and now how do we actually create this menu? We are in the spreadsheet, so we use a spreadsheet app. We get the UI so it knows where should it be created, and say create menu. The string is the name of the menu, and we add all the items we would like to have there. The first string is the name of the item. The second is the name of the function, which is down under the function on open. You see here that I'm calling a function from another script. That's my VAD standalone. And for this, I have to save my standalone script as a library. So in this case, I would just take the project properties, copy the project key, and set it as a library of my script bound to G Suite document. Resources, library, and add a new here. So this is how it works. And there is one other group of triggers, which is called installable triggers. And if I open my standalone script and go to edit and check all my triggers, I will get all the triggers I have set for this script, and I can add new, and that's, for example, confirm proposal received, which can be time-driven or driven from calendar. And I can check, OK, I would like to send it out like every 5 minutes or every minute. And when I set this and save, this function will be executed every 5 minutes. So in case you're interested in more, feel free to visit developers.google.com and check the app scripts. And this is all from my side. Thank you very much.
The questions will come. Here they are.
Are there some debugging tools? Yes, there is a debugger. You can see, you can use this. And there are also breakpoints, so it's very easy to debug in the script editor. Can you execute Google Apps Script functions from non-Google environment? Yes, there is a Google Apps Script API which enables it from your native apps. Are there some limitations on function execution? Yes, there are limitations, as I mentioned. There are daily quotas, which you can also check in this link that I sent you. And also, one function cannot run more than 4 to 5 minutes. And how can we make sure to only accept valid email addresses to prevent the script from stopping? Well, you can either set in your form that this should be a valid email address. So probably this was not the problem that I had. And yeah, if there is no other question, thank you for your attention.